Happy morning, Masters. I welcome you all to the Zoom session on Inner Nature and Outer Nature, Season 2. So before we dive into today's topic and today's wisdom session, I request everyone who has joined me on Zoom and the people who are watching me live, I request everyone to have some glass of water to stay hydrated and find a comfortable position and allow yourself to relax. Slowly close your eyes, clasp your fingers, and cross your legs. Make sure your spine is straight. Let's begin our meditation. We'll start with deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Try to bring the breath down to your stomach and release it slowly. Be a witness to all your thoughts that are entering your mind. Just let them come and leave. Do not pursue them. We are creating a sacred space within ourselves, Masters, allowing us to create a sense of peace, joy, and oneness. If at all you're lost in the thoughts and you're carried away by your thoughts, just remember that breath is your guru. Bring your focus back to the breath, to the natural breath, to the soft breath. Everything that you are seeking outside, Masters, is within you. You are the creator of your own reality. Do not open your eyes, masters. We are in the last few seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly place your hands on your eyes and feel the energy in your palms. At the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly open your eyes with a beautiful smile on your face. I'm so happy to see you all this morning. It's a beautiful Sunday and a fun day today. We have a wisdom session and we have a challenge today. Okay. So in our meditation, we are becoming an observer, right? We are becoming an observer of our thoughts, how they are coming into our body and how they are coming into our mind and they are leaving. In the same way, in life, we need to become an observer of our emotions, our responses, our reactions. See, on daily basis, we have different thought forms that are in our aura, isn't it? And these are constantly fed by our energy. Where we concentrate, that's where our energy goes, right? So if your thought forms are regarding materialistic possessions or sexual desires or intellectual, thought forms or old patterns or belief systems, if these are all the things that are in your aura, then what happens? As I said in the previous sessions, our breath is a bridge towards our soul. It's a bridge between you and your soul. And it carries the cosmic energy to the innermost plane and brings it back to the outermost plane. So if your thought forms are regarding all these things, then how will the light enter your body? The light enters through your body, but it cannot penetrate into your soul. So we need to become an observer of our thoughts. Just like how snake get rid of its skin every few days, we need to get rid of all these things, in our spiritual growth. As in the yesterday's session, Dr. Alvi has mentioned, spiritual journey is a journey of love, is a journey of peace, is a journey of sacrifice. It's the journey of becoming lover from the beloved. So I welcome you all, masters. I welcome you all to this Zoom session on Inner Nature and Outer Nature Season 2, which is brought to you by Pyramid Spiritual Society's movement and PSSM SWAGG in collaboration with PMC English. Coming back to our challenge that I've given yesterday, how was the challenge yesterday, guys? Did anyone do the challenge? To all the new participants today, the challenge was about water saving. Do let me know your thoughts in the chat box, or if you're watching us on live, then use the comment section. If not, then you can text us on the WhatsApp group. Coming to our wisdom session today, we have Master Upali with us. She is a clinical psychology student and researcher who began her spiritual journey in 2011 and has been actively volunteering since 2019. She was introduced to spiritual science books early in life, which shaped her scientific outlook. She chose a career in psychology to integrate spiritual principles into psychological practice, aiming to develop a holistic approach to life and normalize spirituality as a daily life practice. She primarily works with adolescents and young adults and different kinds of spiritual topics, providing them with simplified spiritual practices like mindfulness. So in today's session, we'll be exploring energy, consciousness, and wisdom. During this session, we'll delve into the scientific aspects of how energy, consciousness, and wisdom works. Because we are conducting these wisdom sessions, we get to learn about the wisdom, we get to know about the wisdom about, like through books. But how do we use this in our life? We need to start implementing it. That's when the spiritual growth starts. And each person embodies this energy, consciousness, and wisdom, because these concepts are intricately linked to both personal growth and suffering. So, by comprehending the interconnection of mind, body, and soul through diverse techniques, we can expand our consciousness, isn't it? So, without delaying, I would like to welcome Master Upali. Over to you.
Thank you. Um, Good morning, guys. I hope that everybody's awake at least. And if you are, then it's a really nice way to switch on your camera so that we all know you're awake and sitting up straight. I know it's a Sunday, um, but yeah, I would really appreciate if everybody switches on their videos, because it's not a lecture session. It cannot be a lecture session. It's a PSSM session. Um, so it has to be very interactive. And I would really like to incorporate everybody's experiences of whatever the topic is today, because the topic is such that it is incomplete if only I speak about it. It can only be complete if everybody speaks about it. And it, by the end of, like, I think 45 minutes, you'll understand that you already know what today's topic is. And it's just going to be a refresh, a revision, as we are, like kind of midway to the program. So yeah, I would really appreciate if everybody is active on the chat box and, gives their input if you're not switching on their videos. Cool. So I think I don't need to give my introduction again. It was very comprehensive. But yeah, it's been quite a journey, and it's been a very long time, and it has been a pleasure to listen to a lot of concepts live when they were being delivered by Sir, and when they were being told to all of us. And we were not just told, we were challenged, we were questioned, that you don't have to believe, go out, try. If you find any results, do it. If you don't find any results, come back, we'll talk again. That was the way a lot of concepts were told to me, to my friends. And one such concept is energy, consciousness, wisdom. And if you see energy, consciousness, wisdom, it's an integral part of something. If somebody can say where you have read all three words combined, would be a, like a, what do you say, icing on the cake. If you can tell me these three combination of words where you have heard. Anybody? I know there are some old masters also. I would like them to wait. But yeah, you can, anybody can unmute and say, yeah, please. Yeah, just unmute and speak where you have heard this combination. I think Nikhil and Vaishnavi wants to speak.
Vinay, could you please unmute them?
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Hi, Upali. So it's in our logo, PSSM logo.
Yes, correct. Absolutely correct. It's a part of PSSM logo. If you see the triangle portions of the logo, it's one side written energy, consciousness, and wisdom. So why I asked this is because the combination itself is a very essential combination. If you see energy, consciousness, and wisdom, and we'll break down all of these as we move on, is something that we are made of. If I say, who are we? The unanimous answer that normally we get is that we are soul, we are energy, we are consciousness, we are body, we are mind. A lot of answers we get. And if we combine everything that forms us as the living entity. So when we experience soul, when we experience consciousness, when we experience ourselves, a combination of wisdom, energy, and consciousness interplays together. And before I get into what is all of this, I just want to quickly revise or try to understand your understanding of what is the difference between soul and what is the difference between mind. Let's get that straight first. The difference between soul and mind, because both of them we only experience. The mind also we experience, the soul also we experience. But what is the basic difference between mind and soul? And it's a very easy answer. There's no set answer only, actually. Whatever you feel like, you can speak. A basic difference of between mind and soul. Because see, soul and body is very easy. We all know that. But mind and soul, what do you guys think? What is the difference? Anybody can answer. It's fine. You can write in the chat box also. Or else I'll only say. Nobody. I'll give you a hint. Both of them we can't see, but both of them we can experience. I'll try to see the chat. Okay. So when we talk about soul, it is a unit of awareness. When we say that we are aware, when you know that you're living, when you know that you are, you know, completely present in this moment, you're truly experiencing the soul. Whenever some quality is associated with that event and you're experiencing that event, you're essentially your mind, because your mind can integrate the thought, the feeling, the emotion into one experience. So soul is just the present moment awareness. Everybody who is sitting right now, if you're truly here, then definitely that awareness itself is the soul. And whatever working we are doing right now, for example, I'm speaking, you're hearing maybe. Somebody must be sitting up straight, somebody must be just trying to wake up. All of it happens through mind. But in order for the soul to work, you need the mind, right? Without the mind, the soul cannot work. We cannot work. We need a lot of things to do in our everyday life, and for that we need the mind. And a lot of such things forms a lot of experiences. Did we understand the difference between soul and mind before I get into consciousness altogether? So essentially, when we say we are soul, we say we are a unit of energy, we are a unit of consciousness, and we are a unit of wisdom. Essentially, energy is what is this soul made of. Everything around us is made of energy, including consciousness. In every single particle in your day-to-day life, whatever you touch, feel, see, or are is energy. And it is a very simple physics. And I think metaphysics and now spirituality, or rather I should say first spirituality and then physics, that has proven that everything is energy. Wisdom is something that we'll get into. And consciousness, yes. Consciousness is that vast energy from which the soul is pulled out. An individual soul is pulled out. And consciousness is something that we experience in the present moment. So soul and consciousness a lot of times goes hand in hand together. But when we say who are you, you are a unit of consciousness, consciousness, energy, and wisdom. And all of these three things together, when they work, they help us to grow in life. And if they don't work together, we suffer. It's a very simple combination. Because imagine if you have a lot of energy if you are continuously expanding your wisdom through these sessions, through these books, and you're constantly expanding your consciousness, then what would that lead to? You have a lot of energy to experience things in a new light and have a better understanding. You will definitely grow in life. And when I say growth, it is not just physical or materialistic growth. It is growth in all the aspects: physical, mental, social, emotional, spiritual, every part of your life, if you will grow. And from an example, I'll make you understand. And when we have less energy, when we have less wisdom, and when we have less consciousness, contracted consciousness, when it is not expanding, we will suffer. And it is a very simple cycle. Why do we suffer? Is because essentially when we are low in energy, we are low in consciousness, and we are low in wisdom, we don't know what we want to speak or say or react or respond. You tend to be greedy, because whenever we don't have a lot of energy to do things, we want others to do our work, because essentially we want the work to be done. We become very greedy. The moment we become greedy, we lose all of our compassion towards everything in life. Once you start losing your compassion, you become completely ignorant, because you only become self-centered. Because we don't have energy to fulfill what we really want. We are low on wisdom, so we start expecting and arguing, and really destroying our relationships with others, because we want them to do our work, because we're not able to do our work. And that work can be anything. That can be any need that you want to fulfill. So we become greedy, because of which we suffer. But if we expand our energy, if we increase our energy, we increase our wisdom, and we expand our consciousness, what happens is that we have enough energy to fulfill all of our requirements: our spiritual requirements, intellectual requirements, emotional requirements, physical requirements. We have enough wisdom, which means that we are able to integrate a lot of things in our life and try to see them in a new light. We increase our wisdom, and both of them, when these are increased, when we increase our energy, when we increase our wisdom, our consciousness will expand. Because everything around you, you're mindful of everything. You know what you're doing. You know what you're feeling, acting, and doing. Your every choice is thought through. So the consciousness expands. You make well-informed choices in your life for yourself. So that leads to your growth. Why? Because now you will not only think about how should I improve, you'll also think about what should I do in order for everybody else around me to improve. That's when we do SEVA. That's why we do SEVA, because whatever we have, we want to give it to others. If you don't have anything, we can't give to others. We would want to take from others. That's when you're low on all the energy, wisdom, and consciousness. But when you want to give it to others, it means you have enough for yourself in order to give it to others. So you'll see every pyramid master, every senior pyramid master is always giving, is always in SEVA. And through that SEVA also, our energy systems become strengthened. So there are these three things, when they are integrated together, it's very essential for us to grow. And for us to grow, it means for us to evolve, continuously evolve. Because if evolution doesn't happen in our everyday life, we will be stuck and fixed in the same routine, in the same thought pattern, in the same emotional pattern. And once you're stuck in a loop, that loop is the loop of suffering. Either that suffering is emotional, where you're only blaming the other person. Either it is physical, when you are harming your own body. You're not eating, you're not sleeping. Or that's a very intellectually suffering circle where you constantly wanting to seek answers, but you don't know where to seek them. Or it can be social suffering where you're not able to understand people around you. Neither people are able to understand you. So all these three things are an integral part of our life. And if you work on all of these things separately, they will, at the end of the day, work together for you. Now, for example, let's say the first element, which is energy. There are few energy patterns that every one of us has. Those energy patterns are, first is that we're constantly losing energy. Things that we do which constantly makes us lose energy. The second pattern is things that we do that are directed in a certain way where we're utilizing the energy. Then there are things that we choose not to do through which we conserve our energy. And then there are things that we do that increases our energy. All four of them, when we practice together, we are able to regulate our energy system. And I'll give you an example that happened yesterday with me. I was in a conversation. Okay. In that conversation started for a purpose. I picked up the call. Somebody called me. I picked up the call. I was intending to talk to that person. So there was a purpose to it. So I told myself, okay, this phone call, you're going to utilize whatever energy you have because you've decided to pick up this call. There was a direction. So I said, okay, fine, I'll pick up the call. I'll talk to that person. I'm utilizing my energy, whatever is left inside my body at that moment of time. Now that conversation is going nowhere. That conversation is stuck in a loop of arguments, where neither of the party is able to understand the other person, what their point of view is. So when you're stuck in a loop where it's going nowhere, you're only depleting your energy, because then there is no direction. First there was a direction, there was an intention. Okay, fine, I want to pick up this call, I want to talk to this person, but now there is no direction. So now from utilization, you're losing your energy. But I also know that I need to conserve my energy for me to wake up the next morning and give this session. So now I need to withdraw myself from that situation in order to conserve the energy and later meditate and maximize my energy. I need more energy now because I've utilized whatever energy I had. Now I have dissipated it also because of no direction conversation. So I need to withdraw to conserve and meditate to maximize for me to wake up the next day and feel at certain energy level to sit for 1 hour 30 minutes and attend the session. So it was a conscious choice to withdraw from a situation when it is going nowhere. It's the same with emotions. When you're continuously stuck in an emotion loop, it is wise to withdraw and see that emotion from an observer perspective rather than a person who is completely involved in that emotion. And then revisit it. So today, I might call that person again with a better understanding of the situation and say, hey, this may be what has happened, but I think we can work it out together. So because I chose to conserve my energy, chose to reflect upon myself through the wisdom, I can again direct my energy and maybe reach a solution. So it is very important how we choose to regulate ourselves, how we choose to expend our energy, and how we choose to conserve and maximize our energy. Then comes wisdom. Now, essentially, we say that wisdom is something that you know, or wisdom is something that you have a complete understanding of. But we never talk about what are the layers of wisdom. Wisdom is something that you achieve at the last, when you have the complete understanding of yourself, your surrounding, everything. You're like you just know it all. But before wisdom comes knowledge. something that you have acquired from outside, something that you've acquired from maybe a book, maybe a master's experience, maybe a person's experience. So anything that becomes a source of information for you is knowledge. And whenever you apply that knowledge with your own experiences, in your own experiences, for example, let's say the knowledge of non-judgment or the knowledge of assumption that I acquired from the book of 4 Agreements. In that conversation, I choose to apply it. Because I may have went into a conversation with a pre-assumption in my mind, which has maybe led to maybe a different direction to that conversation. So at that moment, if I realize and if I use the knowledge of assumption, or if I use the knowledge of non-judgment, then it becomes my wisdom. Then I know that, okay, fine, in situations like this, I need to apply this knowledge. So experience, when you combine it with wisdom, when you combine it with knowledge, it becomes wisdom. And when you practice it, everything is a practice. When you practice it repeatedly again and again and again and again, which we called mindfully being aware, mindfully being, being mindful when you speak, being mindful when you hear, being mindful when you see, being mindful when you talk. So when you are mindful in a particular situation while you're experiencing it, only then you can apply whatever knowledge you've acquired. If you're not mindful, you're not present in that situation, we're just acting out of our impulses, then we might not be able to use the knowledge that we have. So there's a reason when we say that you need to continuously read and you need to continuously meditate in order to increase your mindfulness. Because we want a combination of these two in every life situation for us to become more wise, for us to integrate both of them together in order to have more wisdom. Because the moment you have more wisdom and the moment you have more energy, you combine both of them, your consciousness will expand. Because you will see things in a new light because of your wisdom, and you will have the energy to go through that process because you have a lot of energy, you know how to direct your energy. Your consciousness will just keep on expanding and expanding, because in every situation you will become a little more wiser, a little more conscious, a little more mindful, a little more intelligent in all aspects of life: social, emotional, spiritual, mental, physical. So ultimately, that will lead to our growth. It will lead to our enlightenment. And enlightenment is really not a very big word. If you practice these three things, enlightenment, it's in its core definition, and I think that's the most simplified definition I've ever heard from Patri sir, is seeing things in a new light is enlightenment. So every time you see something in a new light, if I can see that conversation in a new light, something that I can learn from, something that I can revisit and work upon, I've moved away from the fact where I was thinking that, okay, this is going nowhere, this is going being argumentative, I'm not able to understand, to a place where I can now say that I can understand the opposite person. I can understand that maybe I have gone through some, my previous mindsets. I need to improve myself in order to understand what the situation was, what the conversation was. I'm now seeing that conversation in a new light. For that conversation, am I now enlightened? And when you add these little things together, little units of enlightenment together, every life aspect where you feel you've grown, where you feel growth, start collecting those things. And when you connect and collect all of these things together, you will see that you've become an more enlightened person, day by day by day. And when it happens for a lot of number of days and a lot of number of years, we say that, okay, that maybe the enlightenment stage has been reached. Now, next level of enlightenment. Then next level of enlightenment. It never stops. Enlightenment never stops. Growth never stops, because For growth to happen, you need to keep on learning and learning and learning. So, and learning happens because you're constantly experiencing life. So, because you can't stop experiencing life, you can't stop learning, you can't stop enlightenment. And the cycle just keeps on for billions and millions of years. So, there is no end to it. There's always an upward growth graph. If you draw a linear graph, it's just an upward growth graph. So for us to, and at its core, what we do actually do is that for us to keep on evolving for trillions of years and maybe till eternity, we need to keep on learning from our day-to-day experiences. That's all we need to do. We need to integrate energy, wisdom, and consciousness practices into our day-to-day experiences, and everything else will be taken care of. So that's how simple the concept is. That's how simply, if we understand our energy system, we understand how are we using our knowledge and our experiences to enhance our wisdom, and we understand that both of them together expands our consciousness. Then the triad is complete. The combination is complete. Then when you seek something, when you are completely aware, when you are regulating your energy systems, when you know what, having wisdom is knowing what you want. When you have complete clarity on what you want, or what somebody wants, we say that person is very wise. We say all these monks and sages are very wise because they knew what they wanted. They knew what the purpose of life was. So when we are clear on what we want, when we are clear that when we clear about the details of what we want, not just what we want. For example, that a very materialistic example, I need a car. And we've been taught that, you can manifest anything and everything in your life, because essentially it's you who is choosing every day, and who is creating every day through your choices. So when we say that I want a car, that can be any car. But when you say, no, I want a blue color Jeep Compass car, that's like the details of that car. And it's the same thing with everything in your life. I want peace in my life. Why do you want that peace in your life? What will you do of that peace in your life? We see every youngster today and every middle-aged person today saying that, oh, I just want a breather. I just want an escape from my day-to-day life. I want a break. We see that a lot around us these days. I just need a break from life. What is break from life? It means to die. It really means taking a break from life is dying. You'll come in the next life. Then you'll say, I need a break again. Again, you'll die. So there is no break in life. You need to see life in a different perspective, and everything will change. It's the same thing as we say, if you change the point of reference, everything will change. So there is essentially the lack of wisdom which makes us say a lot of things very unconsciously. And we say, oh, I just need a breather. You're already breathing. What breather do you need? I need a break. No, you need a different perspective to see life. When you take a break and you go on a vacation, you interact with nature. You interact with something which is completely alive, which is breathing, which is completely present in the present moment. That's why you feel connected, and when you come back from that vacation, you have a different perspective because you're more connected to your own self. And that is the whole purpose of meditation, that you feel more connected to yourself. That is the purpose of knowledge, of these wisdom sessions. You know what and where and how you want to do things. You again feel more connected with yourself. The more you feel connected with yourself, the more clarity you have about your own self, the more clarity you have about your own choices, your own decisions, your own thoughts and emotions. You exactly know what you want in life then. And whatever you want in life, it will be given. That's a universal law. You ask and it will be given. because we keep on thinking of things that we want, and through law of attraction we get and we draw it from the universe. So it is our responsibility to think and to feel what we want in at most clarity, in at most detail. And that can only happen when you're constantly, you have the energy to manifest, one, you have the wisdom to have clarity in what you want, and you're expanding your consciousness in order to and in order for you to evolve and make evolved choices in your life. Because we always in life, we look forward to something every time. This session, this 21 days has a purpose, has an end goal. This session has an intent, this session has a goal, and this session has a purpose. And if you don't have an intent, purpose, or goal, you cannot create future. Intent, goal, purpose in the present creates the future you want. And for you to have that intent, purpose, and goal all aligned, you need to have your energy, consciousness, and wisdom in alignment. So all of us in our everyday life, if we see what we are doing and what do we want out of that day, there has to be a goal. And for us to understand what the goal is, we come back and we see, do I have enough clarity to even design a goal? Do I have enough clarity to have an intention? Do I have enough clarity to have a purpose? And that clarity comes through meditation, that clarity comes through swadhyaya, that clarity comes through Sajan Sangatya. Because the more you meditate, the more energy, the more you study, the more the amount of knowledge, and the more you do Sajan Sangatya, the more you understand other people's experiences, which is another form of wisdom. So all of these things together gives you more and more and more and more clarity, more and more details, through which you then set an intention, through which then you set a goal, and through which you set a purpose of your actions, of your behaviors, of your emotions, of your feelings, and of your day-to-day activities. And all of them, when we combine together in one box, we say that, oh, this person is a very wise person. This person is a very well-regulated person. This person is a very enlightened person. This person is a very well-informed person. That's it. It is that person is not doing something extraordinary. That sadhu is sitting in the Himalayas and meditating for so many hours. You can do the same thing at your house. Given the fact that we have that much of dedication towards our practice, that sadhu is able to reach that level of enlightenment because of dedication, because of the clarity that he has or they have. If we have the same amount of clarity and dedication, we can also achieve the same state, because it is not something which is unachievable. So in order to have the clarity, have the dedication, have the the intent and the purpose, we work on our energy systems, we work on our wisdom systems, and we work on our consciousness systems. It's that simple. So whenever we say that, oh, we are soul and we are this living entity and we are this we are this consciousness and we are we are experiencing everything. We are essentially experiencing energy, we're experiencing the wisdom, and we're experiencing the consciousness. And all of these three things happen when you actually sit and meditate. You can experience all of these three things together also when you meditate. Sometimes in meditation, you have so much energy. Suddenly, you have this thought in your mind that gives you a lot of clarity. It has happened to me a lot of times. Half of the things that I say in these wisdom sessions are a mixture of what thought I had in meditation the day before while I was preparing for the session, and a mixture of the knowledge that already exists about this topic. It's a mixture of both. So essentially when you sit in meditation, you're not just only increasing your energy, your mind is also getting a lot of clarity. The moment it has space, you'll start understanding a lot of things, because then in your mind the knowledge will start grinding, the knowledge will start combining with your experiences, the stored memory of your experiences. You can then combine your knowledge with your experience, your wisdom will increase. And sometimes we feel very, very, very connected to our environment in meditation, especially when we are meditating in nature, when we are meditating in a group, when we are meditating in a virtual group also, we feel very, very, very involved in the meditation process. That's essentially our conscious, like us experiencing our true essence, the consciousness that we are, and the consciousness of the collective. So a simple practice of meditation can help you attain all of these three things together, and help you attain all of these things separately as well. It is that essential. And that's why the entire workshop, when I heard inner nature and outer nature, meditation is actually that link in the between, that inner nature and outer nature. It's actually the link, because it makes you experience your inner nature, and then when you are when you're out of meditation, your outer nature changes. So that essential link is meditation here. So, and it's a very beautifully carved title, inner nature and outer nature. Because only if you work on your inner nature through meditation, wisdom, and your own experiences in Swadhyaya and Sajan Sangatya, your outer nature will change. Opposite might not happen. Because an opposite why might not happen is also very scientific. Because if you try to change something external of you, but you're still feeling irritated, whatever you're seeing will make you feel more irritated. But if you work on yourself and make yourself at peace, the outer traffic noise will also sound like a music. And I can say that because it's an everyday process, because I stay on the main road of Bangalore. I live on the Hosur main road of Bangalore, which is very noisy. Every day till from 6:30 to 12:30 in the night, there's traffic. So when I came initially to Bangalore from Delhi, and Delhi, I was living in a very close-knit residential area. There was no traffic. I was like, what is happening? I was always irritated. Like, what is this noise? The 24/7, this noise is there. But I have to live here. So I had to work on myself to have enough internal peace and calm for me to not get irritated by the traffic, the traffic noise. Then it became a passing thing, because I have to study, I have to take session, I have to work, I have to talk to my family. A lot of things I have to do in the presence of the traffic. So that will not change. If I change, my perspective to traffic will change. Then I started seeing, okay, when the traffic is less, I started regulating my day like that. So I found different alternatives. And the same thing happens in life. When you have enough peace and calmness and silence within yourself, you start seeing the outer world in a different perspective. You start seeing it, you start finding new ways and alternatives. Okay, maybe if I do this, this thing can happen. If I do this, then this thing can happen. You start finding alternatives. Those alternatives are what are a result of your wisdom, because you're integrating your experience with the knowledge. So the moment you feel you're doing hit and trial in your life, congratulations, you're actually becoming more and more wiser, because hit and trial requires a lot of strength, a lot of dedication, and a lot of commitment to keep on trying and trying and trying. So becoming more and more wiser. So if you see every session of this program, you will see that how at the end of 21 days, everybody is essentially talking about the same thing. It is working on your inner self for you to experience a change in your outer self. So if you can, and the way the sessions are carved out, as far as I could understand through the topics and through the speakers, and I later saw it on YouTube, I was like, yeah, we are essentially talking about the same thing through different ways. So see, we have a lot of alternatives and a lot of different approaches, but at the end of the day, you will reach to the same thing, which is working on your inner self. So today I just presented one more way. That's it. Nothing new. Tomorrow somebody will come and they will present another way of working. So you can choose whatever you want and start experimenting. And if you feel that the result of the experiment is in your favor, do it again. If you feel that the result of your experiment is not in your favor, try something new. Or maybe try that thing again. It's always an experimentation. So whatever I said, if that makes sense today, because it made sense to me and I practiced it, so I am convinced that it works. For you to be convinced that it works, you need to do it. So experiment for a week and then come back to the group and tell your experiences in your group and see if it works. That's it. That's how I generally would like to close the session by saying that keep on experimenting with life, because it's very essential, because then there's no fun if you don't experiment. So every word I said today, don't take it because I said it. You experiment with it, see if you're convinced. If you're convinced, then do it. Otherwise, don't do it. There's no compulsion. So yeah, every one of us, all 17 of us, let's experiment. It's very fun. I'm telling you, last 12 years of my life has just experimenting, and that has made me reach to whatever I'm doing today. So yeah, that's all I want to say, and that's all essentially. That's why I think the logo has been kept as energy, wisdom, consciousness, three words together. Uh, if you experiment with these three words, then maybe you'll have a lot more clarity about your own self. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for listening and interacting. Thank you, Nikhil and Vaishnavi.
Thank you, Pali. That was a beautiful session. You have given great insights regarding wisdom, energy, and consciousness. So, masters, if you have any kind of questions, you can raise your hands or else text in the chat box. Anyone wants to share something, you can share.
Hi, Upali. Nice, wonderful session. So the topic that I have taken, it's like really hard to explain. So it seems very similar in our life. We experience all the three: energy, wisdom, and consciousness, but a little tough to explain. And you made it so well with your examples. And when I hear about this wisdom and knowledge, I normally I heard this saying somewhere, but it's stuck in my mind. Like the difference between knowledge and wisdom. Knowing tomato is a fruit is a knowledge, but not using it in the fruit salad is wisdom. So it's as simple as that. So normally, what we know, so many things we know into when we come into spirituality, we listen to sessions, we acquire so much knowledge within us. But when reality comes, when we face some real time situations, but how much we learn and apply that knowledge is what our wisdom is. So when we go through that experience, and when we consciously apply our knowledge into that situations, then it turns out as a wisdom. So it's all about how we experience life will make us more wise. So and how more wiser we become, that much our consciousness expands. So it's all about interconnected. So it was so nice to hear from you.
The
Thank
core
you so much.
essence
Thank you so
is
much.
the core essence is start living life.
Yes, experiences. So
Yes,
normally we
all
think
the
that
experience.
continuously, if some life is giving you so much pressure, we think that okay, we need to take a break, as I said, no. So it's all about that is also a kind of experience. So when we go through that hard times, we will know, yeah, this is also the kind of experience that we need to get it. We always try to like we try to escape from that situation and go to others. But when you go there again, there will be a new situation. Until unless you learn and grow, you will experience the same thing there. So it's all about how you grow. Until unless you learn that, situations will not change. So it was so nice hearing to you. Yeah, nice. Want to add something?
Wonderful, Upali. I have learned a lot from this session. It shows like the clarity you have on this, the way you explained. Thank you so much for integrating in such a beautiful way, especially adding all the practical things, because just speaking about those definitions, this, that works a little, it's not something practical. But the way you explain how it helped in your life and how you understood it more beautifully, and you just simplified it to us. I felt really, attending this session today is a blessing to us. Thank you so much. I'll definitely try. The biggest thing I'll take from this session is, increase your energy. Again, go back, give it a try. And even whatever we have taken from the books or from this session, apply it and turn into wisdom. Thank you so much. It's not about escaping, it's again coming back with new perspective. The way you explained it was really beautiful. It works in everywhere, in relationships, in our work area, in home, or in everywhere, in our with our neighbors. Instead of just ending up that this is how it is. We can choose like maybe changing the perspective and then coming back, facing it with more energy, more wisdom, more consciousness. Maybe that is the real essence of enlightenment or meditation. Otherwise, there'll be no growth, no evolution. Thank you so much, Upali. It was wonderful. Thank you.
Hello, Pali. Hi. Wonderful,
Hi,
wonderful to be
Palika.
here. Thank you so much for bringing that topic in such a easy way to understand, such a practical way to apply to our lives. And the way you said it, that we need to experiment on things and then only we'll know. And Patriji said that the difference between the knowledge and wisdom is knowledge is something you learn from someone or something. It can be a book, or it can be a master, it can be a child, it can be anyone. Anyone can be a teacher. So that's what you learn. And wisdom is knowledge plus experience, is what Patriji said. So that is what we need to do as youth, and you have explained it really well. It has to come from youth. Only then will they be able to understand, what, she's of my age or he is of my age. If he or she can, learn so much or apply so much, talk about so many grit for coming here and sharing with us what you have learned. And I think this is just a drop of what you know, what you have experienced. And for you, it's a lot more to share with us. And we are all waiting for more of your master classes. And you have to share. I mean, the knowledge and wisdom has to be shared. That is how you share your gifts with the world. So we need more and more master classes from you.
I mean, I am grateful to be in a environment where there were a lot of like the interaction with a lot of masters over, while you are growing up, literally from teenage to your adult life. And seeing those masters and their experiences, and subconsciously also, you may not realize that it's consciously being fed in your mind, but subconsciously it is there. So over the time I developed a habit that whatever word stucks into my mind, I just go on the YouTube and type that word, and I type PSSM or Patri sir or some master's name, and there is a video on that, or there is an article on that, and I start reading it. So essentially I realized over the time that whatever I'm seeking is already there. I just need to ask the right question for me to seek it. So it is a very wonderful time for all of us, that we have so many people around us that have already experienced it. We just need to ask the right question, and we'll seek the answer. And that is something I learned from Patri sir, that the answer is there. You need to ask the right question. So yeah, I think as a youth, we try to seek answers, but we forget that you need to ask the right question to seek the right answer for whatever is for you. So yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. And one question that I would like to ask on behalf of the youth, saying that how will meditation solve my, anxieties or emotional turbulences, or, mental anxieties or something like that, how does meditation address youth issues? If you can explore more on that.
Okay, very simplified. I'll put anxiety and depression into one spectrum. As youth, very easy to understand. And for anybody, whenever you are continuously thinking about your past and it is causing you distress, that is called depression. Okay. Whenever you are worrying about the future, it is called anxiety. First, like, it's very simple to understand. So for you to identify these two things. Now, what meditation does is exactly works on these two aspects. First, what happens is when you meditate, the more and more you spend time in the meditation process, the more and more thoughtless you become. I won't say mindless. You can't become mindless. The mind will always be there. You will become thoughtless, right? You will achieve the thoughtless state. What will happen is you will start coming out of that thought cycle of the past, thinking things over and over and over and over again. Those thoughts will go away slowly and slowly and slowly, because now you've connected your mind to breath. Breath has no quality. As your breath flows, your mind will calm down. So one problem solved. Okay. Now comes worrying about the future. Now, why do we worry about the future is because based on whatever the past we have, we anticipate that, oh, it might happen again in the future. So if I don't have a lot of thoughts of my past and I'm continuously always in the present, meditation makes you experience the present moment. When you have no thoughts of past, no thoughts of future. That is a simple thing everybody guides us when we are in meditation. Don't think about your past, don't think about your future. Why? Because the moment you are in present, you don't have those repeated thoughts of past. Because you don't have repeated thoughts of past, you don't know what the future will be. You continuously work in the present. And that is the solution to half, I would say more than half of the mental health issues that we have in today's world, because of this past and future. So meditation really pulls you out from both of the ends and make you feel the present moment, that experience. And the more we practice meditation, the more extended amount of time we experience it. And it is very essential to experience the present moment. And in psychology, and I was shocked that the exact same things were written in my psychology books, and the exact same thing we have been told all of our lives by so many masters. So essentially it is about being in the present moment, and that only meditation gives you. And that the process of meditation makes you feel the present moment. So if you do that, then maybe you can prevent a lot of things from happening. So as youth, that's the most cost effective way, I would say. We don't have a lot of money as youth because we're still making our own careers. So the most cost effective way to live an effective life is meditate. So that's how I see it.
That's a wonderful explanation, Upali. Yes, I believe that all the youth should start as soon as possible to start meditating, to start reading books, to start exploring, experimenting, and learning from many sources, as many sources as possible, so that they grow eventually and gradually they grow. So I am right now in Kanha Shantivanam. So there is one quotation which really stuck to my mind when I was going through the various quotations. It says that spiritual process is working on many levels. Spiritual progress is achieved by working on various levels, on all levels. So that is what I wanted to share today as well, saying that what do you mean by all levels? It can be physical level, emotional level, mental level, spiritual level, causal level. It can be on relationships level, financial level. It can be any level that is there, and spiritual process is working or putting your efforts in all levels. That is such a beautiful saying. And yesterday we met. We saw Daji giving his wonderful answers, and it is very nice. And absolutely, it is working on all levels. It's not just on one level that we work. Oh, yes, I have become a Buddha. It's not going to happen like that. So we have to work on all levels and enlighten ourselves in all levels by gaining wisdom, like our master Upali here, and so many other masters are there whom we need to gain wisdom from. So I think that's about it that I wanted to share. Thank you so much, Upali, for coming in and sharing it with us. Thank you. Yes, if anyone has any questions or anyone wants to share anything, please feel free to do so, because Upali is our dear friend, and she is really working hard on her professional front as well. She is attending college, and she made time for us to for her to come here. So please feel free to ask questions or share your experiences.
Or maybe do share it on the group. The group is really active, so I love reading those messages on the group. So do share it.
The live is till 10:30 a.m. So you can keep questioning in the group as well. You can text in the group or else now in the chat box. If no more questions, then we would like to move to the next segment, to the next challenge we have today. So let's move forward to the next challenge, PSSM SWAGG challenge, which is initiated by Parnita Patri ma'am. She's the founder of SWAGG. And today's challenge is mindful wardrobe, conscious choices. So guys, if you remember, this challenge is kind of similar to the challenge that I've given on day 4. So what was the challenge that I've given on day 4? It is about mindful consumption challenge. And what is the mindful consumption about? It was about shopping, right? Mindful consumption, mindful shopping by prioritizing sustainability and ethical choices. So in that challenge, what we discussed was how to distinguish needs from wants. Like whether your purchases are contributing to your well-being or not is the question. See, if you are purchasing certain things which are not useful for your well-being and which are not useful for your spiritual growth, then which are especially driven by impulses or societal pressures, then I think we need to stop that. So today's challenge is also about that. It is about mindful wardrobe and conscious choices. So let me just read out the challenge to you. Here it goes. The challenge encourages participants to embrace sustainable fashion practices by prioritizing minimalism, maximizing the use of existing clothing items, and making conscious purchasing decisions. So what are the steps that you can take? Are minimalism approach. Adopt a minimalist approach to your wardrobe by focusing on quality over quantity. Declutter your closet and keep only the clothing items that you truly love and wear regularly. Embrace the concept of repeat clothing by creating versatile outfit combinations with the pieces you already own. Mix and match different items to create new looks without constantly buying new clothes. Consider creating a capsule wardrobe consisting of a limited number of essential clothing items that can be mixed and matched to create a variety of outfits. Choose versatile pieces that can transition between seasons and occasions. Next, invest in high quality clothing items that are made to last. Choose durable fabrics and timeless styles that won't go out of fashion quickly, reducing the need for frequent replacements. Next, learn basic sewing skills to repair and maintain your clothing items and mend small tears, replace missing buttons, reinforce seams to extend the lifespan of your garments, definitely. Next, get creative with do-it-yourself fashion projects because it definitely brings out your creative mind, right? And personalize your clothing. Upcycle old garments into new pieces, add embellishments or embroidery or alter items to fit your style preferences. Next, before making a new clothing purchase, ask yourself if the item is truly needed and aligns with your personal style and values. Consider the environmental and social impact of the brand and choose ethical and sustainable options whenever possible. And the last thing that you could do is share your sustainable fashion journey with others and inspire them to make conscious choices. Use social media platforms, blog posts, or community events to raise awareness about the importance of sustainable fashion practices. So that was a challenge today. With this, I would like to conclude today's session. See you in another session tomorrow with another speaker. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to PMC English. This is Yamini signing off.